Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lunch Table Podcast. It is me, Ben, with my co-host, Alan. Alan, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great today, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I like to think. We've had a pretty eventful past week, especially with the big game. Some would argue it's probably the biggest game out of the year, which we had the Super Bowl. It was the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, Florida. And I just want to get this off my chest. It was an absolute whooping for the Chiefs. they First of all, they didn't even score a touchdown. It was 9-31. Um, Tampa Bay's defense was absolutely amazing. The Chiefs' offensive line was absolutely nowhere, but we're going to go into further more details on what happened a little bit later. But first, Alan, I guess, what was your reaction of the game, or what did you think of it?
All right, so it kind of happened in this way where we're like, all right, Patrick Mahomes has all of these deficiencies around him. His offensive line is absolutely terrible. We're like, Patrick Mahomes is just going to be good enough to play around it. No, it turns out having to scramble the entire game isn't great because Patrick Mahomes was sprinting like a track meet every play to get away from those edge rushers.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected this game to show up this way. Like, never in a million years did I expect that kind of domination for the Bucs to dominate. Never expected that.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. I mean, it was just I think I saw something where it was like in total, Patrick Mahomes ran for almost 500 yards trying to run away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but they were saying this a lot. Mahomes actually had like turf toe, or had a really bad toe injury. So, I think also his wide receivers didn't really give him help at all. They dropped a lot of passes that they probably should have caught. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, but I guess we gotta look on the Tampa Bay side. Props to them for winning. Their coaching staff, they did very, very well. Um, who Tom Brady got his 7th ring. I think Todd Bowles, their defensive coordinator, he was getting a lot of credit for, setting up the defense and whatnot.
Masterful game. That was a masterful defensive plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they double teamed Tyreek Hill when they needed to. They literally left Patrick Mahomes with nothing, which is, kind of hard to do, especially with the wide receiving core that they have. But yeah, I mean, it was just. I think your defense is pretty good if you don't let Patrick Mahomes score a single touchdown.
That's the first time in his career.
Yeah,
that's next level.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. And a Kansas City defense, I mean, it was okay. I mean, they didn't really get help. They didn't really get any help from the offense, so I guess that's something. Oh yeah, Travis Kelce also had a huge game.
Only person.
He had over 100 yards, I think. But who had a bigger game, in my opinion, was Gronkowski. He was Tom Brady's safety net in the end zone. Alan, why don't you go ahead and tell us about, Gronk and Travis Kelce?
Gronk just reminded us how dominant he was a couple of years ago. Like, he came back. He wasn't even like Tom Brady's first read. He was just like open. And then he has some like tiny 5'9" corner covering him. And it's just like, oh, wow. His first touchdown, that was a really beautiful play call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Gronk was wide open. And it's just like, man, I don't think you could have called that better. And then his second touchdown was in the corner of the end zone. That was the play. The corner had no chance of beating Gronk on that. And for Travis Kelce was like the only part of the offense that was relatively functioning at all for Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think also during this game, you got to look at the amount of flags Kansas City got. There was one point in the game that I think really just brought Tampa Bay ahead of Kansas City, and that was at the end of the second quarter. I think there was like 55 seconds left, and Tampa Bay had the ball. Not only did the Chiefs give up 2 of their timeouts, but they also gave up, I think it was 9 flags. Don't quote me on this. I think it was 9 flags it was 5 flags for almost 90 yards. You basically gave Tampa Bay a touchdown in that aspect. Um, so I guess Alan, I mean, obviously we all know flags really hurt in the end. But I mean, I guess if you were a coach, you were Kansas City, and you see five flags for 90 yards. Like, what do you think went wrong? I guess like how does something like that go wrong?
All right, I just want to preface saying by the coaches can't really control the flags that are thrown. There were some thrown, especially on the play that led up right before the Antonio Brown call. There was no holding. There was no because they called it a holding
Mm-hmm.
because the ball wasn't in throwable range, so they called it a holding so it could be called. There was no holding there. No clue that why that was called. They also had a penalty where the cornerback accidentally tripped on the receiver's feet, and they called that as a pass interference. So I'm like, the guy didn't even stick out his leg or anything. He was running and tripped and caused both of them to trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's a penalty. But I don't know. You got to be pretty mad as a coach. You're letting the greatest QB on the planet just like every chance he gets. Well, was the greatest QB. He's probably not there anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just like those penalties got to be frustrating because you just gave Tom Brady like 5 chances to score in the end zone, and Tom Brady doesn't need 5 chances more to already destroy you. And yeah,
Yeah. So I guess after this game, could you let's say Tom Brady, I'm just gonna throw a prediction, doesn't win the Super Bowl next year, okay? And he retires with his 7 rings, living off in probably wherever he wants to live because he's got so much money. Mahomes has his career, and let's say Mahomes wins 8 rings, okay? Let's just say he wins one more ring than Tom Brady.
okay.
Could you put Mahomes ahead of Tom Brady and say Mahomes is now the GOAT and Tom Brady isn't?
I think that the fact that Tom Brady always beat Patrick Mahomes as a 43-year-old, and Mahomes isn't even actually that old yet, so Mahomes isn't in his prime. So
25.
I think you could, yeah. So he'll have like 3 more years before Mahomes really gets to probably his peak.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are pointing out this is the age when Aaron Rodgers just started for the Packers. Mahomes right now,
Mm-hmm.
and Aaron Rodgers has had a Hall of Fame career from this age on. So we probably still have plenty of Mahomes left, and the 8 Super Bowls, it's gonna be hard, but he might be able to do it. I don't know. I don't know how you could give him the GOAT. I think he might have to win like 9 Super Bowls to pass Brady, because Brady, even though he only had 7, Tom Brady had 7 Super Bowls. If Mahomes gets 8, we're like, yeah, but Tom Brady already beat him when he was like 43. I don't know
Yeah, I
if that's
guess
far enough a gap.
here's my question, or I guess here's my kind of like prediction. If Patrick Mahomes wins, let's say Patrick Mahomes ends up winning like 2 more Super Bowls, so he'll have 3 rings. Granted, 3 rings, that's 3 Super Bowls. That's still very good. Like, not a lot of, there's a whole bunch of quarterbacks that have Hall of Fame careers or possible Hall of Fame careers and haven't won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what is your opinion on, let's say Mahomes doesn't win, let's say he wins 3 Super Bowls, but ends up winning 6 MVPs. Do MVPs overwrite the Super Bowl wins, or do the Super Bowl wins automatically kind of put you at that GOAT status? You kind of understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think at this point, Aaron Rodgers is probably more of a talented player than Tom Brady. Like Aaron Rodgers has more of the tools, and Patrick Mahomes is like the next generation of Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets the 3 Super Bowls, which is more than Aaron Rodgers got, but then also gets like 6 MVPs, I think you assume that kind of means either Kelsey or Tyreek Hill drop off at some point in his career, or he loses them to retirement or something. So
Yeah.
he's still good enough to get those MVPs, but maybe not good enough to get Super Bowl rings. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he gets the 6 MVPs and then only is able to get 2 more Super Bowls, I think we're gonna be like, oh wow, Tom Brady really was the GOAT. He was able to do this when one of the most physically talented quarterbacks we ever saw wasn't able to do it. I think, in a sense, Mahomes can either lock the discussion or he'll capture it. I think if he doesn't get it, a lot of people are like, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to ever beat Brady because we have the most physically, like one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen in Mahomes, and he wasn't able to get to 7 Super Bowls. I think that would just show how good Tom Brady is.
Yeah. And I think you also got to put in this way, like, yes, Tom Brady's old, but even throughout his career, like Tom Brady was never the fastest quarterback. He never was able to sling the ball as he's falling down like 30 plus yards. Like he
Yeah.
just came up clutch in the games, which I think you also got to respect him for that, because a lot of people are going to say, yeah, Tom Brady's won. You got to give the other guys a chance. But like, that's hard to win 7 Super Bowls. Like I mean, it's even hard enough probably to even win one, but to do it 6, 7 more times, like, geez, 6
Especially
more
if you
times.
say it's just luck, there's no way you luck into 7 Super Bowls. Like at some
Hmm.
point, the only remaining constant there is how good the player is. If he's able
Yeah,
to win 7 Super Bowls,
yeah, you got to give him respect where respect is due. But I guess kind of lean back to the other question. Just we're gonna. I just want to put this in the NBA. Just quick second for you, Alan. Obviously, LeBron and Michael Jordan, they're the main two. You know who's the GOAT and whatnot. I know you're a big LeBron fan, and you're always gonna stick with LeBron. But I guess let's put Giannis or Luka, because I think those two are probably the next peaking NBA stars.
okay.
Um, let's say
Well, before you finish that, Giannis is a star. He won the last 2 MVP.
right.
But yes,
I
I see
guess
what you mean. Yes, I
yeah.
see what you mean.
Let's say Giannis and Luka win one ring, but they end up winning multiple MVPs. Would the factor be for the NFL, like how we put in the NFL perspective of, they got the rings and whatnot, like Tom Brady has all the rings, he's the GOAT. We can also put in like LeBron James, he's won what, four or five championships?
4, I think he's
Four
4 and
championships,
6.
and
Yeah,
Jordan's won
6.
six.
I think that's completely. I think that's it within reach for LeBron to reach 6 by the end of his career. But
Right, but I'm just saying, like, let's say Luka and Giannis each win two, and they end up
two
winning and
two championships or two
two champion
MVPs.
two championships, and they end up winning 4 MVPs each. I guess could you put Giannis and Luka at the same stature of the GOAT status to Michael Jordan and LeBron? Because then if we're gonna say that the championships in the NBA are higher standard than the MVPs, you kind of understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so I think if Giannis goes and wins like two more MVPs to get him to 4, and his team still don't reach the finals, I think you kind of have to like knock that as like like the MVP of your team should be able to lead you to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like LeBron and Jordan did it one. I believe they both won the MVP and then won a championship in the same season. Could be wrong about that, but I'm fairly certain they've done. Yeah, LeBron must have done that in 2013.
Yeah.
LeBron, and I think Jordan did that like multiple times as well.
Yeah.
So I think like if LeBron on his own level got to the championship 10 times, Jordan won 6-0. I think the championship means a little bit more for the top players in basketball. But like the MVPs are not like if they were both to win 4, I think you'd have to put them up there, but you'd also have to
True.
weigh some sort of playoff success. Like if Luka never gets a good teammate for the rest of his career, and he just gets his MVPs because he's dragging his team, sort of in a maybe Houston James Harden. Don't think that'd be enough to get you there, which is unfortunate. But Giannis, I
Yeah.
think, is quickly approaching that tier.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll leave it on that topic. I guess for everybody that's watching, leave a comment. Which one overrules the other? MVPs or winning a championship? I guess we'll ask. Write down the comments below and see. What you guys, which one overrules the other. But before we talk about the next subject, I also want to talk about before we actually had the Super Bowl. We end up actually having the NFL honors, or basically the awards ceremony for them, and just gonna run by real quick. And I think me and Alan have the same, except for Defensive Player of the Year, on who should win it. I mean, MVP rightfully goes to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Alan's nodding his head, so he agrees. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. Now that one, I think, can be a little touchy on who should have won, but we'll go back. We'll come back to that. Offensive Player of the Year, Derrick Henry. Yeah, he deserves it. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. I mean, you could look at Justin Jefferson and look at it, but I think overall, Alan, you can pitch it. You can pitch in after I say this, but like I think quarterback will always overrule over a wide receiver.
Yeah,
And
I think that's just the case. Like they both had record-breaking seasons, and one's the quarterback. Like, sorry, Justin Jefferson, you're gonna be great, but like you're not gonna win that over a quarterback.
yeah, defensive rookie of the year, our boy Chase Young, back in Washington, and Washington actually had two awards. We also got Alex Smith winning comeback player of the year award, which I
Nearly
think they should.
unanimous. Nearly
I,
unanimous. Ah,
I think that should be the Alex Smith award after, especially after the injury they came off of. Russell Wilson winning the Walter Payton uh award, which he rightfully deserves, and Coach of the Year ending off in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski, who has to get all the he deserves all the credit. He really turned around that Cleveland team. Also, some Hall of Famers. We have Megatron, um, aka Calvin Johnson, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Alan Faneca, Tom Flores, Sean Lynch, and Drew Pearson. Congrats to all of them making it to the Hall of Fame. And hopefully they have a good time retirement, which I know Peyton Manning is because he has been doing, what's the commercial called?
State
It's
Farm
Allstate.
was it? Allstate,
No, it's
I
Allstate.
think so.
Allstate. So he's having fun doing that. But going back to the awards, I think Defensive Player of the Year award could have gone either way between Aaron Donald or TJ Watt, but I think they should give it to TJ Watt, man. Aaron Donald's going to win another 5. We already know that,
But
but
like it's best player. Like it's the player of the year.
yeah, I know,
TJ
but
Watt was not the player of the year. So
TJ
therefore he
Watt
does not
TJ
deserve
Watt
the
had
award.
a hell of a year. And you
Good.
can't
Good job. All pro team. But he didn't win he shouldn't win defensive player of the year. That was still Aaron Donald.
I think he actually beat Aaron Donald though in most if not all categories. I think he only lost to one.
He's
I
an
don't
edge
remember.
rusher. He should be beating Aaron Donald. The fact that Aaron Donald is in that discussion means Aaron Donald is defensive player of the year.
All right, I'm just gonna give it to Allen because I don't really
Yeah.
focus on the stats that much. So I'll
Like
I'll let you have that one.
like edge
Um,
rushers. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
All right, so Aaron Donald gets double teamed significantly more than TJ Watt does. Like way more.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly from the fact that he's a defensive tackle. But then Aaron Donald also has a probably nearly identical win rate despite being double teams more.
Mm-hmm.
And TJ Watt plays on the edge. So it is harder to double team on the edge. You can bring a tight end, but like you're not always going to have the guard and center. But
Right.
Aaron Donald having stats similar to an edge player, I think speaks to how dominant he is along the interior. Because we know Aaron Donald's the best defensive line player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
This will be his, I think, third defensive player of the year. Rightfully so, in my opinion. TJ Watt, I know JJ Watt also came out and said, oh, look at all these stats that said TJ did better. And I'm like, I think the entire reason the Rams defense was good was because of Aaron Donald helped everyone else around. But TJ Watt was good because he played on a good team. And I think that's the difference between the two of them. I'm not saying TJ Watt isn't good, but I think the reason the Steelers defense was good is because he was a part of the team, but not. That doesn't actually sound the right way I want to say it. I think the defense for the Rams was the level it was at because Aaron Donald was a part of that team. I think TJ Watt happened to be a good player on the team. I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with you because, I mean, Aaron Donald is a beast, and nobody can take that away from him in that perspective. We are going to move on now to a little. When we were writing the script, me and him were scrolling through social media, just make sure we got all of the main ideas, and Alan comes up and he goes, "We should see some, what some people think of their mock drafts on Instagram." And yeah, Alan, why don't you go ahead and say some of the mock drafts, I guess, that people have or had their opinion
on. Do you want to go over the one we were talking about? Just
sure.
All right, so we got a mock draft from httr.nation on Instagram. We'll put that in the description. He has to the first round mocked to Washington. Rashawn Bateman, the receiver out of Minnesota. I think that's a bit of a reach at 19. I don't know if exactly I'd want him there. My opinion is unless this person's not doing any trades, I'd prefer us to trade up for a quarterback or yeah, mostly that. But in the second round, he has us Trevon Moehrig, the safety out of TCU.
Hmm.
I don't think he'll be there in the second round, so I'm not sure how realistic that is. The
Yeah.
third round, he has Jabril Cox, the linebacker out of LSU, who just transferred to LSU for I think his senior season. He seems like a pretty decent linebacker, and Washington needs linebacker fairly heavily.
Yeah, pretty bad, especially since one's retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then
and with
second pick in round 3, we have Jackson Carman, the tackle out of Clemson. And then Ben, you want to continue for the last couple?
sure. Round 4, they got us, or he has us, or she, whoever it is, has us picking Trey Sermon, running back out of Ohio State. Um, I mean, I don't think we really need another running back, in my opinion. I mean, we
No.
we're already set on running backs. I don't know why he would put that there. Um, round 5, he has us taking Shaka Tony, edge for Penn State. Um, I mean, I think it's somewhat reasonable. I mean, he could be used as a third asset, I guess, behind Chase Young and Montez Sweat, which injuries happen and whatever. So that could be a good pick. Around 7 has us taking Frank Darby, wide receiver out of Arizona State. I mean, honestly, any wide receiver, if they're somewhat decent and they do somewhat good, I'm okay with that because obviously Terry McLaurin cannot do it on his own, and everybody else on our team is okay at best. And then again at round 7, they got us taking Trey Norman, cornerback at Oklahoma. Again, I think we're pretty good on the secondary. We could use some help, but he could be a good asset maybe. I mean, hey, Cameron Crowe was a 7th round pick and he was basically a star. So props to that. Do you have any other mock drafts, or is that really
That's it. I think
it?
we'll go over more next time.
Okay. So we're just going to move on to what's going on around sports. This is my favorite topic to talk about. Well, because I really am the only one that talks about this. But yeah, we're going to move on with the MLB, and there is some huge news. Basically, probably the top free agent, Trevor Bauer, has signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers, trying to win a championship, which, you know what? Championships are championships, and I do not blame him. Now, Alan, I do want you to hear in on this. So Trevor Bauer, I think he signed like a 3 or $105 million contract. His first year, he's making around $40 million. Second year, making $40 million. Third year, 19 million, I think. But the big thing is he can opt out of his contract his first or second year.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing, so Trevor Bauer's salary is $40 million. That is more than 3 MLB teams' projected payrolls. The 3 teams are Cleveland, who have been notoriously known for not spending any type of money, the Pirates, who have been in like a rebuild since like 2015, and our hometown Baltimore Orioles, who are 39.1 mil. Here's my opinion. If you're telling me one player is getting paid more than 3 MLB teams, then why are we spending our? I get we're in the rebuild, we want to save our money and whatnot, and I know COVID definitely hit this with money and whatnot, but I mean, come on, you're telling me we have money as an Orioles fan, we have money, and we're actually making a pretty big push. We took a big step last year, and we could have added some more support. Oh, that
You hear
just
the hurt in Ben's voice.
no, because it's frustrating. Because it's like if you're telling me we have money, and we can spend that money. Grant, we don't need to go out and buy the top free agent and then invest all in him. But I mean, the little pieces add up, man. The little pieces. Come on, it's frustrating. Ah. And we lost Anthony Santander because we didn't want to pay it. Oh my god. Anyway, moving on. Probably to the biggest issue, especially in the world and right now, we have some COVID issues in the NHL and college basketball. The NHL has just been ever since the season reopened. I mean, Alan, I don't know if you heard about this, but they have just been having issue after issue with COVID. Like players are getting it, games have been canceled, and to make it to make a bigger step, you know, they only have 56 game season, and I think they're basically averaging like 2 or 3 games per day that aren't being played, which is not pretty. That's not good. And I think the NHL is actually making some bigger stands to hopefully cope with COVID, and hopefully they'll get that under control. College basketball, I think the really biggest issue is really with a game. This is being filmed on the 9th, so it was on the 8th. North Carolina versus Miami. Some North Carolina players were seen at a party after their win against Duke, with no masks and obviously no social distancing. So that's that is not too good in college basketball and in the NHL. Alan, you got anything else really just going around sports?
I don't, oh, okay. I have something. Let me talk about Tristan Wirfs real quick. Should have won Offensive Player of the Year. Best rookie in the NFL over Chase Young. Fair enough to say that.
He's a tackle, just so everybody knows. He's an offensive lineman.
So he was never going to win the award. I love Chase Young, but Tristan Wirfs was outstanding this year and should have won. What was it called? Offensive Player of the Year, but like not Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. But they were never going to give it to an offensive lineman. But Tristan Wirfs came in and played like an All-Pro basically right away.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, kind of. I'm just scrolling through here right now. Some free agents have signed. Actually, Yadier Molina is coming back for his 18th season as a Cardinal. He's a catcher, so good to see him. Mets are gonna be signing Jonathan Villar on a 1-year deal. He's a good utility man, so props for them. Also, MLB. The big thing that the MLB season that they were waiting on was vaccines. They wanted their MLB players to be vaccinated for when their season started. But obviously, probably everybody knows in the world, their vaccines are kind of hard to get nowadays. So vaccines are not required under MLB's COVID protocol. So yeah, there's that. And Felix Hernandez, who is a pitcher who has been around for a very long time, is actually coming to the Orioles. So we actually signed somebody. Cool. And the Braves look like they're going to get Marcell Ozuna, who is a very big bat that they need. Good to see on that. Alan, are you pretty much good? All righty. Well, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the lunch table. That has been our podcast. It's been a quick one. We really were talking about the Super Bowl and what was going on, and the GOAT stats and whatnot. But we'll probably talk about that later in the year. In that case, that has been me and Alan talking to you from Lunch Table. Have a good day. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace out.